All kinds of huge news for Tesla has broken in the last few days, both about the refresh Model Y, the Juniper if you will, the Y-Fresh, but also we have seen a huge amount of steel delivered to Giga Nevada, where we expect to see semi-truck production beginning at some point. Joining me to talk about it is Randy Kirk from the Randy Kirk channel. I'm Brian. Welcome to Futuraza. So Randy, yeah, big week. I don't know, man. What should we start with? Should we mention spy shots are out? We can see this is pretty clearly a Model Y in disguise.
In disguise, yes.
And it does appear that there may be a bumper cam on it, which would be a new development, at least for this model. Did you have it? What was your thoughts when you saw that this is out now in July of 2024? What were you thinking?
Well, Brian, I don't know that we've talked about this on your channel in the past. I've had my theory now out and amongst the folks for about 2.5 weeks that Model Y sales this year have been destroyed, not by anything Elon Musk said, not by anything that had to do with, oh, no, people don't like BEVs anymore, not to do with the high interest rates, because they're not really that high in terms of overall, in history, car interest rates at 6-7% are not that big a deal. No, the number one reason the Y sales have dropped this year is because it's been the Cybertruck is stealing sales from the Model Y, and the Model 3 refresh is stealing sales from the Model Y because people are waiting for the Model Y refresh. And so but for those things, if we had the Model Y refresh in, say now, or in a week or 3 weeks or whatever, the sales, I think, of Model Y would explode. And so therefore, I'm excited to see that.
I'm excited. Absolutely. So I would agree with almost all those points. The Cybertruck isn't necessarily stealing that many sales, because when you compare the volume of the Cybertruck so far to the volume of Model Y, there's a lot of gap there.
But I did polling. I did polling, tons of polling on X. People are waiting. They're waiting for their Cybertruck. They would be buying a Model Y now or a Model 3, it turns out. 40% of the people who are buying a Cybertruck said if there was no such thing as a Cybertruck, they would be buying a Model Y. 33% of the people who are waiting for their Cybertruck said that if there was no such thing as a Cybertruck, they would be buying a Model 3 right now. That shocked me that it was that high a percentage, but yeah, it's definitely Osborning it.
I would suggest that is not the most scientific polling, but you're right that the volume of deliveries isn't necessarily representative of the people who are waiting. And I've seen plenty of buyers who are saying, I'm absolutely getting the Model Y, but not this one, the next one. So that's going to be a mover. And if for some reason the Model Y is not the best-selling vehicle of 2024, which it may well be, and the only reason it would not be in 2025 is if it takes too much time to ramp. Right. But I think it's going to be a lot of demand. And I think by the end of 2025, we're likely to see interest rates normalize. We're likely to see the cost of the Model Y come down, or at least the margins go up.
And I also think that Elon Musk will stop saying funny things, silly things.
Not a chance. Not a chance. When will it be released? The refresh, or Highland Model 3, began with engineering test vehicles being spotted near Giga, Texas, and the Fremont factory in California. I don't remember seeing it in Texas, but I remember seeing it in California first. It may have been in Texas later. And similarly, this was spotted near Pasadena. Of course it was. Given the timelines we saw, the Model Y appears to be following a trajectory for an early to mid-25 launch. And what I found was that it's actually more like it was April was the first sightings of the Model 3 refresh, and September was first deliveries in China. And I think, as I'd mentioned on your show yesterday or the day before, that I would expect China to also get this first because they're very good at that kind of retooling. The vehicle is expected to be released in China first. You should cite your source, because is it me? While a North American and European arrival following sometime after. The performance variant of the Model 3 didn't launch until April. So that is, and as we discussed on your show, I believe the reason for that is you've got multiple lines. You need to transition them one at a time to prevent unforeseen downtime. And in doing so, you can start with the least desirable models, get those all the way dialed in. There are people who will buy them just because they're new and beautiful, even though they would prefer to have a performance or long range model, and then get the other ones going. As soon as it makes sense, front bumper camera. I wonder, with the Cybertruck, I understand the need for it. With this one, I'm not as convinced, but okay, we did see early prototypes of the Model 3 refresh with a bumper camera that did not make it into production. So it could be that it's there for testing or something else. According to the spy shot, it looks like it could be Tesla's new one with that camera. And Randy, please stop. Please stop. This isn't me talking. This is Elon. There's no new model this year. Please stop hinting that there is. It damages our sales of the current version. Yes, there isn't going to be one this year, Randy. I mean, in 5.5 months there will.
Yeah. So if you don't want people to talk about the upcoming change in the Model Y, then you better not put them on the streets. I mean, it's not. Well, how can you? It's almost ridiculous for him to even ask for people to stop talking about it. Once they're cited, cat's out of the bag.
Cat's out of the bag. Humans are notoriously bad at keeping secrets.
Yeah.
Question I would have, Randy, is do you expect any changes other than what we saw with the Model 3 refresh?
Oh, good question.
Because we will, get, I'm sure, laminated glass all around. I'm sure we'll get an updated suspension for a better improved ride performance dynamics. Of course, it needs a smoother ride. Come on. And then what else? The infotainment will be updated, the seats and the interior and the ambient lighting. I've seen people saying, are we going to get steer by wire? Are we going to get 48 volt or brake by wire? My thought on all of those is no,
Probably not.
Probably not. I think those steps are too large, and it's, as Elon has said, it's hard to change the tire when you're still barreling down the highway. So those are much bigger changes.
I just realized something as we've been sitting here talking. I had a brain explosion.
Oh.
And I realized that because I was out driving, I think it was yesterday, if it wasn't for the Cybertruck coming, I think that my family would be buying the new Model Y.
Oh, yeah. So the Model Y, who is it for? It's for people who want something smaller. It's for people who want something more traditional. It's for people who want a very, very tight third row, which in Michigan, I went ahead and stuffed Lars from Best in Tesla and Dr. Know-It-All back there. And we didn't drive anywhere, but I closed it and they were not happy. They were not happy. A little tight for grown adult humans.
Well, I think this is such a shock to me. I mean, yes, of course, it's probably not going to move the market. It was on my list of things that I said would move the market, but I guess it probably won't. It's a catalyst for sure.
I will disagree. The Cybertruck is only available in North America. The Model Y is available globally. It is a hot seller globally. So around the world, I don't see many buyers waiting for the Cybertruck. And if they are, they should stop because.
Oh, I meant move the stock. I meant the catalyst aspect. Of the Model Y being cited would move the market, but probably maybe not. Certainly earlier. Well, this is now not today. But as we were shooting this, the market was Tesla was just like this all day long on Monday. And maybe it had to do with some of these things that happened over the weekend. But technically, theoretically, the Model Y refresh, I think, is going to be a bonanza. I think they're going to sell a boatload.
Oh, yeah. Sales on that are going to, as I've said before, get bananas, which reminds me, I need to get bananas. There is the other big news, of course. Zangler, the Tesla semi advocate, who, by the way, 2,900 subscribers. Guys, construction is kicking off. These are rookie numbers. Let's get him up here.
Yeah.
I'm not subscribed on this account. How is that even possible?
Oh, goodness you.
There we go. Well, this isn't the main account that I use for all my things, but there we go. Bump those numbers up. So what are we doing here? This is the site where we have watched them grading the land. This is clearly a roof truss. These are vertical columns. This is everything you need to start construction, apart from foundations. So should we talk about it? Should we talk about timelines? Because we did just talk about timelines on the Model Y. And for those curious, I will be counting squares. And I've got some thoughts on how to do that better. So what are we?
I think they should start with the roof and then put in the verticals and then eventually get around to the foundation. I think this would be, a completely new way. We could call it the unboxed method of building a factory. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Well, GM famously is a top-down company, and they've done great. They're leading, Randy, and it matters. So we've got to think about this. The question is, are we talking? I've seen optimists say this could be done as little as 9 months. I think that's too optimistic if you're including tooling into it, especially since there are no foundations yet. And those take a month to dry before you can put the columns up. I've seen pessimists who say it would be 2 years plus. I also don't share that conclusion. What do you think from the time, from now? Do you expect to see production by the end of 2025?
Well, I keep having this weird, I try to picture myself in the same situation because I've never built a building, but I have built several factories. And when you're getting ready to build a factory, of course, there's a tremendous amount of prep that goes into it. They've been sitting on this factory now for 6 months, it's 8 months, a year, since we first learned they were going to do this. And so they've had plenty of time to really work out the details. I think you mentioned on my channel the other day that it's odd that the steel is already here when they haven't started the foundation. I have this suspicion that they are ready to make this happen really, really fast, that they're going to put this baby up. All the stuff has been ordered, all the stuff is on the way, and that this will really, really go up fast. Elon, talked about it being 40,000 in 2025. I'm sorry, 2025. Well, if you're going to do 40,000 in 2025, you're going to have this baby starting to spit out some vehicles pretty early in the year.
I would agree with that. I don't take Elon's timelines as the gospel. Or maybe I do, but I have a different opinion of the gospel than you. But hey, we're having fun. I would say that, so from the time we see footings going in, I'd say the minimum time to completion is 9 months, the minimum time to production. And I think production is ready. I don't think they're going to need extensive additional road testing. I think they've done years of that, adequate to cover all their bases. So I think there will be some road testing, but I think it can be done quickly. And I think it can be done in parallel rather than serial, where you can get 10, 20, 50 of these on the road, run the heck out of them, make sure that they're holding up, and that will give you everything you need to know that they're going to perform as expected. So I'm thinking if we see footings going in right now, the earliest we would see production is Q3 of 25, but probably more like Q4 or even into Q1 of 26.
Oh, you are being conservative. Okay. All right. Okay.
I am. Yeah. And that's still with the very big, if we see the footings going in. I'm looking from the air here and I am not seeing the footings.
No. We also, I think, should mention, because it's so easy to just look at this as, just one more product. But at 40,000 of these per year, if they get to that level, we're talking 8 billion roughly just in truck sales. not counting probably another 8 billion in accoutrement, meaning the charging pump, the charging stations, as well as the megapacks. Yeah.
Sure.
I've been working very hard this morning. I think my brain is finally turning off. Okay, megapacks, maybe one for every 5 to 10, and charging station, maybe one for every 3 or 4. So could have an equivalent amount of dollars in that, adding on to the dollars of the trucks themselves.
Yes, it may not have the accoutrement of a Winnebago, but if anyone has seen that video, please share your favorite quotes down below. Accoutrement, what does it even mean? I wrote this. So there is a great video. I'll have to tell you about it after the show.
Oh, I see, in the green room.
Oh, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. People in the comments will get it. I am confident. So this is all exciting stuff. This gives me new stuff to track. I've been waiting for so long. How can I live my life normally if I'm not counting squares? I must count them.
I'll be your first square.
And it's something I'm pretty good at, and I've got new methodologies I've been considering over the past these many years. So this will be this will take me to new heights, Randy. New heights.
It will. I'm sure.
For those who don't know, I will be heading out tomorrow night for Monterrey, Mexico. I'm going down to meet with Adrian CG, Adrian in the Hat, the drone pilot there. I also have a number of other things lined up where I'm going to be meeting with factories and suppliers and whatnot, experts on a variety of topics. Not enough has been cemented to get it figured out, to get it announced at least. Oh,
I just had another great idea.
I struggle to believe that. Let's hear it.
Take your shovel with you and have them take drone footage of you out in the middle of the lot, turning over a shovel of dirt.
I know a guy who has an actual Tesla hard hat. If I had more baggage allowance, I would bring it with me and make it official. But what I'll do is just go into some shop and buy a children's hard hat and use a Sharpie. And I think that's a terrible idea, but something I will absolutely consider. So that's great. If you're in Monterey and would love to say hello, please get in touch. There are infinite ways to do it. Some of them even work. And what did we miss? What did we misunderstand? What are you excited about this week? When do you think the semi-production will actually begin in earnest? Everybody else, like, subscribe, do the usual. I would tell you to stay tuned and juicy, but I think you know to do that. I will mention that that I am a professional and that I'm only able to do this through the generous support of patrons. And if you can't do that, that doesn't hurt my feelings. You don't have to. Of course, there are ways to do it, but you can just like, subscribe, do the usual, and stay tuned and juicy. And I cannot wait to hear from you clever robots in Monterey.